Hello there. Let me confirm if we're live or not. Yep, we are live. Good afternoon, Shruti. Just give me a moment. Good afternoon, Shruti. Alright. Yeah. So, today's class right now is basically an endeavor to kind of practice short form as well as long form passages. Um, I'm Prankur Arora. I am going to be your instructor. I'm a published author, a coach, a trainer, and I essentially spearhead the L&D, the learning and development modules for quite a few organizations. Uh, so this class is happening on the CAT4MBA YouTube channel. Similarly, we hold classes live on the Unacademy portal where the pedagogy is much more evolved. Right? We've got quite a lot of features that add to the experience of learning, right? For example, the question answers, they are conducted in the form of live polls. We have a doubt, ask a question feature on the platform as well. We regularly conduct tests and quizzes on the platform. The next Unacademy Combat is on Sunday at 12 p.m., which is free. You can register for it for free. Uh, all the courses on the platform are structured, and with one subscription, you get unlimited access to it all. These are the various subscription models, right? If you're preparing for 2021, I would recommend at least a 6 month journey, right? And if you use my name Prankur, you'll get an extra 10% off on any of the subscriptions that you go for. Having said that, let's start with the first passage, Shruti. All right, we have your answer. Do we have anybody else joining in, willing to submit their answers before I launch into a discussion pertaining to this? Okay, Rishika says it's false as well. Just give me a moment, guys. Okay. Confusion here, Shruti. All right. So, the idea essentially is that when it comes to this particular question, the answer is in fact cannot tell, because see, it is possible that researchers, what have they done? It is possible that the researchers, they're going to be that they've identified the form of beneficial exercise, but it is also possible that they've found only that exercise is a positive factor, right? But not really the specific type of exercise, right? So when you say that researchers have identified the forms of exercise that simulate the growth of neurons, you really cannot tell it for a fact. It is possible, yes, it is possible that they have, but it is also possible that they've found only that particular exercise that is a positive factor, but not the specific type of exercise. Yeah. So the answer is, in fact, cannot tell. Next question. Okay. Now Shruti says false and Rishika says cannot tell. Uh, The answer is in fact false. Well done, Shruti. Because see, when you say the intended audience of the passage is the physically inactive rather than the general population, we cannot identify for whom the passage was written, but we can conclude that it was not intended more for the group of physically inactive people over the population in general. Right? So when you take that into account, I think Shruti has gotten it bang on. The answer is in fact false. Let's look at the next question. Alright, Shruti thinks it's false. Rishika says false as well. Guys, the answer is in fact true. Come on. By saying that contraction of the hippocampus is held to be responsible, the author indicates that there may be disagreement on that point. Exactly, the phrase is held to be allows for other views and so for the possibility of disagreement as well, no? So it is true. This contraction is held to be responsible for age-related memory loss, and the older we get, the worse it becomes. There can be disagreement, right? It allows for disagreement. Okay. So held to be essentially means it allows for other views as well and for the possibility of disagreement. All right, next question. The answer is in fact true. Look at this, Rishika. Four of the best five schools are based in the United States, right? And the fifth based in Europe is the Glasgow Business School. So obviously Links Business School means क्योंकि fifth school आपका Glasgow में है, right? Four of the five best schools are in United States, fifth is in Glasgow. So that means Links is in the United States automatically, right? So when the passage states that four of the best five schools are US based and the European Glasgow school is the only non US school, then Links is obviously in the US as well. Okay, this time Rishika has gotten it right. Now understand, Shruti. We know that links came first, right? We know that Stanford came in second, right? And what else do we know? We know Harvard is third, right? So these are the three positions that we know for a fact, right? Links first, Stanford second, Harvard third. Now, but we do not know if Glasgow is in the fourth or the fifth place. We don't know that. We don't know for a fact whether it stood fourth or it stood fifth. We only know that it was the only non US school in the top five, right? We don't know whether it stood fourth or it stood fifth. Okay, so you really cannot tell. Next question. उसमें पोजीशन नहीं लिखी है, उसमें बेसिकली उन्होंने ये बोला है 4 आउट ऑफ द बेस्ट 5 स्कूल्स आर बेस्ड इन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स। अब अगर मैं ऐसे पोजीशन लिख लूँ, फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ, तो उन्होंने ऐसे पोजीशन नहीं आइडेंटिफाई करी है कि 4 आउट ऑफ द बेस्ट आर इन यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स एंड फिफ्थ इज इन ग्लासगो। उन्होंने बस ये बोला है ये 5 हैं, 5 में से कोई 4 यूएस में है एंड पांचवा जो है वो ग्लासगो बिजनेस स्कूल है, वो यूरोप में है। They did not really identify the position per se. They just said 4 out of 5 and the fifth is in Europe. Again, when you say by best, the author of the survey most likely means the school voted by a panel of experts to be preeminent. See, neither the criteria for the survey nor the mechanism for grading the schools is commented on in the passage, right? Pure passage mein we're not really talking about the criteria or the mechanism, right? So that means you cannot tell whether it was voted by a panel or not. It could very well be that it is voted by the panel, just that the passage is not talking about it. So every time the passage does not talk about something and it is out of scope of the passage, you go for cannot tell. ठीक है? Alright. Next passage. Okay, so the both of you are saying it's false. Alright, I agree. It is in fact false. Why? Because the passage offers two possible explanations, right? For the increase, one is that, when you talk about young children, they develop the condition, and the other is that the increase is due to a marked improvement in diagnosis, right? So the second of these reasons, which is diagnosis, is, if correct, does not really support. It does not really, what do you call it, support the conclusion that five times as many young people are developing the condition. The same number of children would have developed the illness, but only few would have been diagnosed. So, in that context, false is the correct answer. Well done. Next question. Yeah. Okay, again, the both of you say it's false. And I agree, the answer is in fact false. Uh, See, the passage allows for two possibilities, right? So if the cause is environmental, and one is something new, that is the cause, and the other is that we have reduced exposure to something that was previously kind of providing protection, right? So there the answer becomes false. Well done. What is the meaning of plausible? What is the meaning of plausible? So plausible, essentially, Rishika and Shruti, plausible means something that is reasonable, right? A plausible explanation of the increase could be that the principal age at which the condition is diagnosed has become lower. So plausible explanation means reasonable explanation, right? So isn't it a reasonable explanation? I think according to what they've told us in the passage, नहीं तारीफ के लायक नहीं. Plausible means something that is reasonable, something that can be accepted as the cause, right? So according to me, according to what I've read in the passage, I think it is a plausible explanation of the increase in cases. I think it is true. Right, they're talking about diagnosis there, and I think it is a perfectly reasonable explanation given what they've told us in the passage. All right, let's move on to the next question now. क्योंकि cannot tell तब होता है जब आपको लगता है कि यार मैं, but sir, yes, yes, go on. All right, let me go back to the question. Yes, yes, yes. Ask away. Lower, यार, lower age is not the factor, diagnosis is the factor. When you say a plausible explanation of the increase could be that principal age at which the condition is diagnosed has become lower, the idea is that you're talking about. See, again, what is the first line of the passage? The first line is that the number of very young children which diabetes has risen dramatically in the past 20 years, right? The number of very young children with diabetes has risen dramatically in the past 20 years, right? Number of children under 5 who have type 1 has increased fivefold, right? The dramatic increase is either the symptom of a marked improvement in diagnosis. So, if your diagnosis is improving, people are getting diagnosed at a lower age because your diagnosis is improving. So, if people are getting diagnosed at a lower age, then that means the increase can be explained by the fact that the age at which the condition is being diagnosed, it has become lower because of improvement in the process of diagnosis. Are you getting my point? And they are saying that this is a plausible explanation, it is a reasonable explanation. We are not saying whether this is what the case is, we are not saying whether this is the only reason. A reasonable explanation that you can reason it out, you can be like, okay, fine, this could very well be the case. I'm not saying that you accept it as the case, I'm saying can we reason it to be the case. Okay. ध्यान से रीड करना, दिस इज अ डायरेक्ट रिट्रीवल क्वेश्चन. Okay, and the both of you have in fact gotten it right. Would the following fact weaken the case? True, yes, it would weaken the case. Why? Because they say that it is found in every type of water body, and here they are saying no species of mosquito is found in brackish water. The passage said every type of water, so this would in fact weaken the case. Well done. Next question. Okay. So, genera is a plural word meaning a class of things. That is, in fact, true. Why? Because genera is the plural for the word genus, right? And you can tell this from this usage. In Italy, there are about 17 mosquito species and 6 genera, means uh, six genera of mosquitoes, right? The passage is telling you that there are 6 genera of mosquitoes. That means that 6 different types, and genera, as I said, is a plural for genus, right? What is the meaning of genus, guys? What is the meaning of genera or genus? Genus is basically it is a category that ranks above species and below the family, right? So if you remember, हमने biology में पढ़ा था in class 10th, was it 10th, I think, right? We group of species under, exactly. Genus is a group of species, yes. That is what I'm saying. It is above species and below family, right? That middle path. Yeah. Okay, next question. See, Shruti, इसमें cannot tell नहीं आएगा. इसमें Rishika has gotten it right. It is in fact false. Look at the question. It can be concluded. False. It cannot be concluded. It cannot be concluded from the information provided that all species of mosquito need both aquatic and terrestrial environments during their life cycle, because no information is provided on this point in the passage. So no, it cannot be concluded. Right? Cannot tell. Yes, you cannot tell from the passage, but the phrasing of the question is, can it be concluded? You will say false. It cannot be concluded. Yeah. Okay, let's solve a long passage now, and then we'll come back to the short passages again. थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया short passages. Let's do a long one now. I think you guys are warmed up enough. So let's start with a long passage. So read this. Let me know once you're done reading it. I'll switch over to the next one. And simultaneously summarize every paragraph, right? So that when we are solving questions, even though I'll go back to the paragraphs, but I'll need you to tell me which paragraph you want me to refer back to so that we are able to answer the questions. All right. All right. All right. Here you go. All right, Ankit, I'll look into it. Thank you for your suggestion. Rishika, Shruti, are you guys done reading this one? All right, done reading this one? Okay. Last paragraph. So this is from a previous year CAT exam, this particular comprehension. Done? Alright. Let's look at the first question now. A is the perfect answer. Well done. Next question. The answer is, in fact, D, a tradition of matriarchal control, because the entire passage talked about patriarchy and how all of these three actually were reasons for banning abortions. That is right answer. Next question. The mother becomes pregnant accidentally. So they talked about how when women are abused, or they have pregnancies because of rape. So this is basically a very emotional question, right? They're trying to trap you in an emotional question because according to them, women are in two categories. Either they are pro-life, right, or they are pro-choice, right? So these are the two categories that they define. When you are pro-choice, you are supporting abortion. You're for abortion because you believe that it is your choice whether you want to have a kid or not. Pro-life means that you are anti-abortion, right? So answer is exact. In fact, none of these. Pro-life is anti-abortion, so they would not advocate abortion at all. Uh, See, control of unlicensed medical practitioners. Exactly. So, हाँ, ये आपने सही बोला. They die to get it, but not their control. Unlicensed people were practicing abortion, which was very, very, uh, what do you call it? Scary for doctors. Hmm. B. So the answer here is both 2 and 3. I'll take you back to the paragraph, right? Pro-choice advocates reject the views of separate spheres. They object to the notion of home being the women's sphere. Women's reproductive and family roles are seen as potential barriers to full equality. So they want full equality. Motherhood is seen as a voluntary, not a mandatory or a natural role. Right? So both these points were covered. Full equality as well as a matter of choice. So both 2 and 3 are the answers to this one. Next question. So it led to C, scrapping of anti-abortion laws. Take you back. Uh, Wait. Yeah. The anti-abortion legislative in the so पहले तो ये हुआ, right? The second health tragedy was severe outbreak of rubella. The first one was the drug thalidomide, and these tragedies combined with a change of attitude led to a number of states to pass abortion permitting legislation. Right, so few states in the United States scrapped abortion. Right, basically they basically legalized abortion. Sorry. So they scrapped anti-abortion laws and they kind of legalized it. Quite a lot of states. So the two health tragedies combined with a change in attitude. So these two combined, A and the question combined, and they both led to C. All right. Change in attitude is not given as a result. They are saying the tragedies combined with a change in attitude led to scrapping of anti-abortion laws. So change in attitude was not a reason, or rather the effect was not an effect of the two health tragedies. The two health tragedies plus the change in attitude led to scrapping of anti-abortion laws. Okay. So here they are saying these tragedies combined with a change of attitude towards a woman's right to privacy, led a number of states to pass abortion permitting legislation. So, change in attitude here is not really your result of the tragedies. It is a separate thing that combined with the health tragedies and convinced the government to legalize abortion. D is in fact the answer. None of them basically got support, or none of them supported pro choice. All of them were pro life. Right. Rishika, are you up for a few more questions? Can we go back to the short passages now? Or you tired? We were left with, I think, two short passages. So are you up for them or are you tired? Let me know. If you're up for them, then I'll continue the class. You're up for them. Okay, cool. False. Okay. So the answer is, now understand that when you talk about it being false, the the passage states that the atlas includes the earliest known printed plan of a US city, but it does not say if the illustrations of England and Wales uh, are the first or in the form of maps, right? It does not say that, right? They illustrate a survey of England and Wales, but the idea is that they're not saying whether it's the first printed map or not, right? So therefore, a more viable, a more suitable answer for this would be that you cannot tell if it is the first printed map or not. ठीक है? So basically, the difference between something being false and something that you cannot tell is very minute. It is very nuanced. Let's try again with the next question. True नहीं होगा ये false होगा because when you say that it is attributed to someone you mean that it is theirs. It attributed is a possessive word. That means it is theirs, right? This word, it is possessive in nature. It means that an object is regarded as belonging to, or it is appropriated to somebody, to a person's work, right? So the answer is false. By stating that the atlas is attributed to Christopher Saxton, the author is hinting that it may in fact not be his work. No, the author is saying that it is in fact his work, is what the author means. ठीक है? तो ये फॉल्स हो जाएगा, डबल नेगेटिव आपका पॉजिटिव बन जाएगा बेसिकली. Okay, what do you think? Is it multifunctional? Is it not multifunctional? When we say that something is multifunctional, what we're trying to get at is that it is serving multiple purposes, right? Multifunctional means that something fulfills several roles, something fulfills several functions. And the passage states that the atlas, it provides an illustration of a survey of England and Wales, right? Then it gives the expedition of Drake to the West Indies and what is now the United States, right? At the same time, so these are two different purposes that the map is fulfilling, that the atlas is fulfilling. Therefore, the answer is in fact true, that it is fulfilling several functions, right? Because these are two different things, or rather three different things, right? So therefore, instead of cannot tell, the idea would be true, because multifunctional का meaning ही यही होता है. ठीक है, let's look at the next question. True. The answer is in fact true. Well done. The passage states that the system, it ranks substances according to the harm they cause, right? So, for example, the cost to the state. So, it is reasonable, therefore, to conclude that a drug's rating, it reflects its prevalence. Well done. No, no, the answer was true, right? Or are you saying for this one it is false? The main point made in the passage is that some legal drugs cause more harm than illegal ones. False. Well done. Why? Because this is a subsidiary point. The main point is that alcohol and tobacco, they cause more harm than many other illegal drugs. Okay, how about this one then? False. No, it is in fact true. It is in fact true. Why? Because see, the passage states that cannabis is below alcohol and tobacco in the league, right? And that tobacco is ranked 10th. So from this we can infer that cannabis is placed in the lower half, right? It is in fact placed in the lower half in the table. because tobacco is 10th, right? And it is below tobacco and alcohol, so it has to be in the lower half only. बिकॉज टेबल 20 का है और वो बिलो टोबैको है और टोबैको 10th है, सो इट विल बी इन द लोअर हाफ. ठीक है. So with this we come to the end of today's class. We've solved quite a lot of passages today, Rishika. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are conducting the next combat on Sunday at 12 p.m. It is for free. You can register for it for free and you can unlock it using my name, Prankur. Now, the idea here is that the exam will give you a lot of perspective about where you stand, right? And it will give you data such as the time you spent on every question, your topic wise scores. It will also give you video solutions. So, do partake because you will get a lot of idea. And these are a few batches that we are launching, right? Try to look up all these educators and see whether you'd want to learn from them or not. Having said that, I'll now resume the class tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock and then again a class at 2 o'clock, just like yesterday's timetable. So I hope to see you then. Till then, stay safe and stay strong.